show. I let you deeper than I let anyone else before. Lining up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heart be needing. Skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher. Ooh, you take me higher, baby. Take me higher. Ooh, you take me higher, baby. Take me higher. Ooh, you take me higher, baby. Take me higher. Yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the progressive news show with Let's Be S3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Anna Hart, along with Theas. And as you can see from the title, there's two reasons why I'm actually doing this show. One, Beau in the fifth column always have certain subjects that I always like to discuss on this show. And two, it really, really helps me to clean out my queue. So you can tell how long I've actually been holding on to these things so I can do for this show, including one that's actually last year. That's how long I've been holding on to these things. So he does have some subjects and some of my favorite videos, and that's what we're going to look at and discuss for today's show. We also have in the second hour a mixture of sort, and I'll explain that to you in the second hour, and it'll make more sense. But it's just something that's a little different. We do have a positive story of the week. Of course, we have a Mafia video of the week, and of course, we have a Foxy video of the week. I have absolutely nothing to talk about because I did most of nothing today. I handled my business, came home, put the show together, and here we are. So, voila. Take it away, Anna.
Hi guys, how are you doing tonight? Everything going good?
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
Got me some cool points as a husband and as a son-in-law, so I'm good.
Oh, that's right. The delivery went all right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Of course, you didn't do it for the points.
Right. You did it because you love your family.
Wink, wink. Yeah, okay. Of course I did it because I love them.
He wasn't even thinking about the points until we brought it up.
It was us. It was all us.
Yeah, turn the fan. It's getting hot in here. But anyway, yes, everything went off with a hitch. I actually, for the first time, cooked collard greens ever. And so far, everybody loved it. I haven't heard from my mom yet, so I don't know what that means.
Ooh.
It could be it was so fantastic, I don't need to tell you, or you my baby and I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't know which way she gonna go. Mm-hmm. But the father-in-law loved it. My wife loved it.
Oh, welcome home, Foxy.
Oh, yeah. Foxy is home, everybody. Foxy is home. I am so happy. Really. Whoa, wait a minute, everybody. Got to stop for a second. Captain, how are you doing, sir?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Captain. I haven't heard. Greetings, family. Been a while. Hope you all doing well. We are. Thank you for coming in. We haven't heard from you in a while. I hope everything is going fantastic for you.
I might not be.
That's what I'm going to say. I've been through a storm. So,
yeah, there's a thunderstorm going over again. But I might not be as animated as yesterday. I had family over. It's been, my poor cat got scared, and then my silly dog reacted to that in a shepherd type of a way. She wanted to herd her. um, and my cat just wasn't moving. She was frozen. So, yeah, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle right before coming on air. But it'll be a good night.
Kerfuffle. Great word. Excellent
I love
word.
Love it.
I love that word too.
How's everything going, Thais?
So, pretty good. I created a video and put it out on the Patreon page. So, if you are a Patreon member, feel free, check it out. And if you're not a Patreon member, still go, because it's in the public section. So you can still see that too. So, yeah. There you go. That's what I did today. I started it yesterday. I recorded it yesterday, but I spent today editing. This is why I don't record, folks. It's not just that I don't like recording. I don't like all that goes with it.
You're gonna have to find
Editing
you an
takes
editor.
time.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. It does take up the most time. You think finding the stories take up the most time. It's not. It's editing and getting it to a certain
I'll be right
point.
back.
And I'll be right back.
I got my new YouTube channel for our United Core, so it's not going to be on the same page as Complex Mind. So separate website, separate YouTube channel. But this YouTube channel, there's nothing on it yet because it doesn't even post this video until next week. And I didn't do any design or nothing on the channel, so I don't even know what it looks like. So, yeah, best place to go, though, I say just go to the website. Always go to the websites.
Oh, wow. Well, without any further ado, let's get this party started. So we're going to go ahead and start with the first video, which was fascinating to me, and is basically a letter that Beau got from Europe. I can't remember exactly which country, but he got a letter from Europe. So let's see what the comment. Hello, Parker. Parker is in the house. What's up, Parker?
Hey, Parker.
So let's go ahead and get into that, and then me and Thais, and maybe by then Anna will be back, and we can all discuss.
A cop in Denmark is walking along, just doing their thing in a shopping district. They get a report that there's a disturbance. So they walk over. They are better trained there than in the United States. So when they make visual contact, they can see the couple. They realize it's not, nobody's getting hurt. So they take their time, and they're listening to the argument as they walk closer, using time, distance, trying to evaluate what's going on. And they kind of figure out as they're walking closer that this is a Black American couple on vacation, husband and wife, and they're arguing over who left the insulin at home. That's it. That's what's going on. Now, it's Europe. You need insulin. The solution to this issue is not to lock somebody up. It's to give you insulin, solve the problem. So the officer walks over, and as soon as they call out, the guy, he throws his hands up. I'm complying. This bothered the cop because from their perspective, this is just a wild reaction to their presence. And they say they understand it, because of the behavior of cops in the U.S., but that's not, they would like to know a way to set people at ease. And again, I'll provide my suggestions, but there might be better ones in the comments section. I would say exactly what you're thinking. It's cool. We're not American cops. I might actually start with that. And if your boss doesn't, want you to constantly mock American police, maybe just start off with, nobody's in trouble. It's okay. How can we help? Because there is a very conditioned response to the presence of law enforcement. And we don't have a lot of Andy Griffith cops left in the U.S. We don't have cops that use consent-based policing, which is what I think y'all use there. It's very different. It's very domination-based. So their reaction isn't, it's not, it's not weird. In fact, that's what you saw is kind of what they get told to do so they can stay safe.
This, I think we talked about it in the past. And I think this is what I wanted to talk about is this is what I say is a form of conditioning, especially for Black America. This is a condition where year after year after year, when I tell my fellow Europeans, there's a big difference about being scared of being pulled over when you're Black and being pulled over when you're white. Because when you get pulled over when you're white, it's, oh my God, I hope I don't get a ticket. When you get pulled over being Black, is, oh my God, I hope I don't die. We've been conditioned that by either being a part of it or a witness to it, or both. At some point, you will witness to it and then you get pulled into it simply because you were standing there. Seen that happen before. So this gentleman that was in, what did he say, Poland?
I don't know what European country it was.
I forgot what European country he said. Reacted how he was conditioned to react. And I understand what the European cop was saying. But let me just throw this out for understanding. We always have that analogy that Thea said a lot on this show from what not Dr. Martin Luther King, but Malcolm X said. When you have a herd of snakes coming towards you.
That's Muhammad Ali.
That's Muhammad Ali. When you have a herd of snakes coming towards you, you don't know which one of them is going to bite you. Let me add a caveat to that. And you have to use your imagination, but I think it works. You have a herd of snakes that's coming at you, but you do hear a couple of them saying, I won't bite you, I won't bite you. In a herd of snakes, you still do not take that chance. One, you don't know who said it. And two, just because you said it don't mean it's true.
It doesn't mean the rest of your folk ain't gonna bite me. Yeah. I could believe you.
So when you have a bunch of people, and sorry, Europe, I'm just being truthful. When you say that's not us, we're not American. Okay. Still not taking that chance. Just still not doing it. No.
Well, what was the guy's reaction? Like, so I heard a little bit of what this was about, and that a cop didn't know what to do, how to calm someone down. Like, what was he doing?
So basically, husband and wife were on vacation. A black couple were on vacation in a European country.
Uh-huh.
And one of them forgot the insulin back at the hotel. So they're in a heated argument of, just as a couple, you did it, no, you did it, no, you did it, that type of thing.
Okay.
And the police respond. Okay, Parker. But police respond, and as soon as they respond, the black man throws his hands up in the air saying, I comply, I comply, I comply. And the police were taken aback because they're like, this isn't a normal reaction. What did we do? We're not America. That type.
I heard like that part. And what can we do to help calm somebody down? And yeah, I'm not sure.
So the thing is like, the story kind of speaks for itself in a way. The officers know, the world knows the police culture of America. So they knew that it just didn't know what to do with it, right?
Right.
But I'm also not willing to pretend like anti-blackness isn't a global phenomenon.
Right.
What you oftentimes will find is in highly, and I mean highly homogenized communities or countries or cities, mainly countries. The country needs to be highly homogenized.
A lot of European.
Yeah, but they'll be there. The odds of them being less terrified or scared at your presence. See, they don't deal with you as a competitive threat. So, one, I'm seeing this black couple. They're obviously tourists, right? Or almost obviously tourists. They could be expats, or they could be, from Africa or something like that. But generally, you can look at us and you can tell an American black person from an African black person. In many cases, you can just look at us. But it's not always the case.
Right.
But what they did know was, we just want to see, how can I help? Like, they literally are responding in the spirit of, how can I help? There is a situation response that we were alerted to. How can I help? And because of our cultural trauma response and survival mechanism, I ain't got time to figure out if you understand what I'm going through. I need to make you comfortable, right? Because that's what we have learned. We have learned, make
your life is on the line.
Comfortable. Okay. And if it's not the white people, you make the police comfortable. It doesn't matter. Those, because they both represent the same power force. They both can mess your life up real quick. So that's how the man was responding. So I would say, bravo on the police over there. And no, there's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you can do. You're dealing with a one-off situation, right? So don't go and create a whole new training regimen or something like that. It's just, you were confused and you still maintained your calm, and you probably were able to help them get some insulin or get back to their hotel so they could take care of what they need to take care of. Bravo to you for being, service first, mentality. The American thing is not transferable because the history here is the history here, and the current events here are the current events here. So it's like the closest, and it's not a good comparison or whatever, but our closest comparison as far as known counterparts is how the Palestinians are to the Jewish nation, right? Like, that's the closest parallel I can come up with, where we live next to each other and among each other, and in many cases things seem okay. But it's okay because one side is obsessed with appearing peaceful, while the other side is obsessed with maintaining the peace. But neither are living peace, right? Like, neither are at peace.
Right.
It's just an uneasy type of thing. So and plus what Marlon was touching on with the trauma thing, I mean, quick analogy to somebody I put out a while ago that I thought was really good. I think it was it might have been Dr. DeGroote, um, but she was saying like the trauma is not just if you witnessed it, right? So if there is a mass event, um, you have different ranges of trauma. You have you have the one who was actually struck. They're going to have a form of trauma. You have the ones who were in the room and witnessed it. They're going to have a level of trauma. You're going to have the ones that were in the next room and heard it. They're going to have some trauma. You're going to have the ones who, after the fact, saw it or had to help heal or protect or make really hard decisions. They have another set of trauma, all from one event. And every last one of them, the trauma will manifest a different way. And so, yes, we have a cultural trauma, we have a social trauma, we have individual trauma, we have all of that. And welcome to America. I think it's going to be this way forever, quite simply, because America has no stomach to do what it would take to redesign the police. And the distrust is so deep that even if you did, we still wouldn't trust the police. So
yeah, I agree. I know from family members in Europe, many different countries, that their cops are something all totally different. Like, some don't carry guns, and they are very, how can I help the entire situation? Not, like as in the case of insulin, let's get you that insulin. Even if we have to bring you to the hospital, we have a national service here. It does run very differently. But there is absolutely no way, as you said, to talk your way out of such an ingrained trauma. It's maybe have a therapist on call, but as you said, it's going to be so rare. Is that really going to be needed?
you mean a therapist like on call with the police?
Right, like we are talking about, for a mental breakdown, or if that is getting in the way of public safety, or a personal, person. Like I said, brain not as sharp today. You just have to be as honest as you can. And like, here I would be talking to the constable. Like, this is not your history. You can't do anything. There's nothing that you could do that could heal all that trauma. Just try to be as in and out and as polite as possible.
And another big part of it is culture. It's huge.
Yes.
When they respond to an event, like when I lived in Germany, I was a kid, but when I lived in Germany, there were officers who had weapons, right? But they were usually on guard duty somewhere. And then you had the other officers were the Polizei. They were just like out and about, and they might be driving or they might be walking, but but the culture wasn't one where there were 2 firearms for every 1 citizen. So that's a big deal, right?
Yes.
And then you have the history of America. We glorify strength and force, we glorify it on many, many levels. So the police are like small armies. Their thing is, how do I quickly respond and overwhelm the situation, right?
Right.
So that's their footing, right? I'm going to overwhelm the situation. I'm going to have a display of either force or energy, so that you back up, right? That's their thing. You back up, and
Yep.
then we'll assess the situation and we'll deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of why the two can't. They're not interchangeable. They're just not. Real quick though, here's how I would imagine or reimagine law enforcement. Right? We would still have patrol officers. We just have a whole lot less of them.
Mm-hmm.
Their main focus would be responding to the call with a different unit. They would be dealing with traffic situations. Those are the main things, right? That's the normal beat cop. Then you have a lot more detectives than we have, so that they would have that expertise and special training to help solve crimes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We would also have specialized. Instead of you being a beat cop, you would be SWAT. You would be the one like a social working group. You would be like, you are very specialized, because 9 times out of 10, when we call you, there's something that has happened and we can send what's needed, right? And then if we need to just send force, that call can come right behind the first call and you can send whatever you need to send. But that would be one thing, because I don't agree with some of the people on the left who would say, well, we just need to send social workers to these domestic calls. On my feed alone, just my social media feed, in the last 48 hours, at least 3 officers have lost their lives responding to a domestic violence call. That's 3 in just 48 hours, right? So nah, you can't send social workers out to that, man. I mean, you can send one, but they need to have the other people with them,
Yes. Yeah.
And then the other thing, real quick, well, no, I won't. I'll drop that one, because the other one, that's something I want to do with my own business, so I ain't gonna put that out there. But y'all go, yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the second video. Something that's up Thea's and Anna's wheelhouse, something that I discussed in the past when I talk about my city. Why companies do what they do.
So today we are going to talk about marketing and rainbows and why you should probably expect to continue to see them, and that it's not really going to go away despite a semi-organized push to make them go away. I had a question. Short version is, hey, with all of the pushback, why are so many companies going forward with it? It's math. It's capitalism. It's capitalism. Okay, so let's start with this. There was a survey conducted. It's called Accelerating Acceptance. Okay, survey of 2,500 people who were not members of the LGBTQ plus community. 70% said that companies should show their support through advertising, sponsorship, and hiring practices. 70%. That's pretty big. But aside from that, there's another reason. The estimation that I saw said 17 million people in the U.S. are LGBTQ+. Okay. That survey was of people who weren't. 70% of them are supportive. You know, the 17 million are supportive, and they're worth about $1 trillion. That's a lot of money changing hands over the course of a year, right? Companies want their share of it. It's capitalism. And if you are looking at building your brand, you're looking at building your company, Who are you more interested in showing support for? The 17 million people who have $1 trillion worth of economic activity, who have an immutable characteristic, something that isn't going to change. And if you back away from them, well, you may lose that customer forever. Because that characteristic, that's with them forever, right? So, you lose that customer forever. Or you might lose a customer who is currently upset about rainbows on store shelves, but who realistically cannot remember why exactly they smashed their Keurig. Because they'll forget about it. Over time, they will forget about it. And they'll get that, they will get them back. But if they abandon a community, they may never get them back. And they're probably worth more.
Anna, would you like to go first?
Capitalism will do what capitalism will do. Everybody always, we talk openly about how we in the queer community talk openly about how we don't poll openly. And that you will see widely different numbers. I was just looking at, because I couldn't remember what it was offhand, the HRC. They have people who talk to them, the Human Rights Campaign, is more like 20 million. We're dealing with somewhere about 7 to 8% of the population, something like that. And recently, with, I would say, Gen Z, with their open arms to the non-conforming genders, millennials as well, the queer community has expanded and expanded till we're kind of visible in where we didn't used to be. So of course, everybody from Target to your gas stations are going to put rainbows on their merchandise because it's a, as he explained, it's a smart move when 70% of the population are just like, look, leave them alone, and yeah, we should have more inclusion. Of course, companies are going to see that and be like, woohoo, that does not transfer over to companies having, looking at you, Target, good relationships with the queer community. And, they're only doing it because they can make money from it. It makes them look good. And yeah, we love our rainbows. But we have plenty of places to buy all kinds of things that have rainbows, have 2 women, 2 men, what have you, represented. Um, I don't know. This all it's very, it's wide open. We don't have the most compassionate capitalism here. I wish we did. And the bigger the company, quite often, the worse the record is. So I'm it's a small but vocal amount of people who are upset at seeing rainbows, upset at people wanting representation. It just makes good business sense. And that's all.
I've said this on the show many times. I'll probably say it until the day the show probably ends. Corporations looks at the bottom line. They look at what is going to make us money and what is going to make us save as much of that money that we made.
Bottom line, yeah.
And all they heard was cha-ching. They didn't all of a sudden hear the song "We Shall Overcome." They didn't all of a sudden decide to become a kumbaya type corporation. That's not what they're in the business for. I guarantee you, and I hate to say it, but I guarantee you, a CEO looked into the queer community and looked at one of his people and went, how can we make money off of this? When the 2000s came, the LGBT community, at least the knowledge that they exist has been more open. And that's when somebody went, okay, they're not going to be quiet. They're not going to sit in the back room or anywhere like that. How can we cash out on this? How can we let's put something together? As much as we have had Pride Month in this country, wasn't recognized until recently.
Mm-hmm.
Any other time when I grew up, a rainbow was a rainbow. It had different colors in it. Now it's on merchandise. How can we profit off of this? And what I was saying about my fair city being a very liberal city, it is. Because we're the second largest baking state behind New York. We're not gonna mess up our money. But please believe that. We're not gonna mess up our money. So when I tell you we're gonna all the companies, corporations are always gonna look at the bottom line. If the outcry for the equality of the LGBTQ community was not as loud and as vocal as it was since 2020, 2016, 2020, something around that. If it wasn't as vocal, we wouldn't be holding this conversation. The merchandise wouldn't be on anybody's shelves. And there you go. It's just the hard truth of capitalism in this country. I hate to be the one to say it is what it is, but it is what it is. The same way that all of a sudden the Latino community all of a sudden have this big boom in business, and you got Latino commercials in Spanish being played on radio stations where they normally didn't even play anything like that, didn't even dream of doing something like that. Because how can we make money off of this? These are the same people who will capitalize on a whole community and then walk across the street because they don't want to be in the same vicinity as you. So I'm done.
Well, I'm gonna have to come in off the top rope on y'all. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying anything y'all saying is wrong because they're not. But I think that there's way too much focus on the evil corporation, right? Look here. We must also look at the social dynamic of all of this. All right. Speaking first with respects to the queer community. It ain't like this fight started in 2008. Okay.
No.
They've been fighting since the 50s. Because before that, it was dangerous to admit who you were. Okay. Yeah. So they started poking their heads up as self-identifying in greater numbers in the 50s and 60s, because that was when the civil rights movement was moving, and there was a time to stand up for yourself a little bit more, right? And so, but they were still somewhat muted because the consequence for coming out back then, we just called everybody gay. The consequence for coming out gay could be your life, okay?
Yep.
So they played it a different way economically and socially. Because one of the benefits, from my view, I'm not a member of the queer community, so this is just my view. One of the benefits of being queer is that if you, with some exceptions, if you just don't say anything, people really can't judge you for it, right? You have to either change your hairstyle, change your style of dress, change your mannerisms, change your voice tone, something like that, which is oftentimes used to communicate within the community where you kind of stand. But if you don't share that, you come across like just about anybody else, especially if you're white. So they played it smart from a social and economic position. They got their educations. They worked their way up in various companies. They started businesses. And they networked with each other out of a form of mutual protection, social uplift, and they moved in lockstep in that manner. So that by the time the 90s came, many more were in position and of age. So that's a big thing. When you're in your 40s and 50s, you can now start to assert yourself a little bit different than you would have asserted yourself when you were 20. Okay. So now you can speak up, even if they don't know, even if you haven't quote unquote come out of the closet, you know who you are and you know what your community deals with. So you can start speaking up in little ways, or you can help with hiring because you're a hiring manager now. There's different things you can do. So they got into different positions where offending these people not just affected your marketing. No. It affected your business. Okay. It affected a lot of things to come out like that. So come the late 2000s, well, early 2000s, now it was much more permissible, for lack of a better term, for quote unquote normal folk to come out and be who they are. But it still wasn't safe, because let's not forget, don't ask, don't tell, and all that stuff. Come on, right? So I'm just pushing back at the thinking it's too much about the marketing, because if it was really about the marketing, then other groups would have had some of these issues. America doesn't care about the marketing all that much. because most of the money that we're talking about came from the people who don't like you anyway. In fact, if we go back to the video where he was talking about 70% are like, no, we need to make sure people have rights and we don't care who you are, who you love, blah, blah, blah. That's not news, right? What are we dealing with right now politically? Roughly 30% of the country, right? The polls are consistent. It's like 70-30 all the time. That 30%, though, holds a lot of power and a lot of influence. And they are the poster children for what we call an American. So I just want to make sure that we don't get too caught up in just saying it's about the money. It is about money, but it's also about social disruption. It's also about power. It's always about power. And how are you going to mess, real talk, how are you going to come at the queer community too hard? Look at our entertainment industry. Look at our news and media industry. You gonna come hard at the queer community like that? Boy, you better watch out. So it's good that they have found a way to assert themselves in better ways. But now but then once again, drawing back a little bit, we can't pretend like that's a big panacea either. Because it's a different experience if you're trans versus being gay or bisexual or lesbian, right? Whole different experience, okay? Or different experience if you're black gay versus white male gay, right? There's all that stuff is still rolling. So it's like, yo, I'm glad that the queer community is seeing some advancements and some movement. I'm glad that the Latino community is finally seeing some movement. I'm glad that the Black community is finally seeing some movement. But I can't chalk it up too much to the economics of it, because I think they're walking together, right? I think they're walking very much together. And then now, just for my little ignorant Uncle Ruckus moment, look, man, y'all don't own the rainbow, okay? I like what y'all did with it, but y'all don't own the rainbow. It's like me saying I own the color black. No. But I say just clap for people for finally being able to use their voice. Their voices have been shut out of communication and out of these rooms for so long, and they're finally being heard. It's a beautiful thing. But these companies, it ain't all about the money. It ain't all about the money, because they will shut you out for other reasons and make up the money somewhere else. Especially when you're, what did you say, Anna? Roughly 15% or something like that. 7%. Right? I don't even know if that's an accurate number, right? Because 7 seems mighty low. But
it does.
And then I'm sorry, one other thing, and I'm sorry. Part of what has helped the queer community is very much the same thing that I think has almost hampered them. The queer community, because they're not an ethnic group. Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they are everywhere. Mm-hmm. And people, unfortunately, learn best when they're personally affected. When it's someone you love, and you could be the hardest bigot, but when it's your grandbaby or your daughter that comes out to you, you may not handle it right, but all of a sudden you have a different view, right? So a lot more people who otherwise might be bigoted, they've been touched, right? They've been affected, in which case they're not going to be as hostile. You know, a lot of the people who are just diehard hostile, they're just really kind of bad people anyway, because they're the ones that people have to hide from, you know. But anyway, that's me. I rambled a little bit, but basically what I'm saying is I think the social component is just as, if not more, powerful than the economic. I think the economic follows the social.
Okay. Let's
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
I thought it was talk about queer capital. I don't know. Sorry.
That's where we came off of it, right? We came off of the discussion from the video, and we focused. Well, the two of you focused on the capitalism piece. I'm saying that that's not, from my viewpoint, that's not the angle I would come at it. That's all. I could be the one that's wrong out of the three of us.
Heck, you ain't gonna like this next video, then.
I didn't dislike this video. I just had a different opinion.
It's a different viewpoint. That's all. I get it. We built this show on different viewpoints. I told everybody a long time ago. We started agreeing with. We get to the same point. We always just have different paths of getting there, and that's what makes it so fun. We all had the same idea. This is a boring show. I don't want to hear y'all go, yep, I agree. Okay, I don't need y'all on him. Anyway, we're going to go on to the last video. Actually, this is actually one of my favorite videos. Anna is just all over the place now.
No. Anna's not all over the place.
I am. I'm all over the place. Probably. It's Sunday. I have a right to. All that cooking I did in the kitchen. The last video of the first hour is actually one of my favorite videos from Beau. Actually, one of my favorite videos.
I didn't realize how much I missed Beau. I like Beau.
Yeah, I meant to tell, and Captain said it, that Beau is on hiatus.
Yes. For his mental health, and I'm really glad for that, because he was getting angry. He was not able to give the news as the separated observer, like, and he saw it too. I'm glad he took some time.
Well, fortunately, he's been very successful with his channel, and he'll be okay financially. I haven't seen. I don't watch Beau, so I only know he's on hiatus because y'all tell me. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he's very reasoned, and he comes with a perspective that shows he thinks deeply about things, and that eventually will weigh on you when you see the changes aren't coming.
Yeah. Why do we always take the last weekend of the month off? Because we deep dive into a lot of these situations. A lot of these situations.
Because of Marlon.
We.
I'm just.
You gotta say that again. You was breaking up.
No, I'm saying I appreciate the time off. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but we take some really deep dives into these situations, and okay, fine. I feel like we need to take a weekend off a month to, exhale.
Oh, wait. I thought this was you and Foxy needed a weekend. Like, that's what I was saying. It's Marlon.
That's a part of it, though. We use it for a weekend too.
Yeah. Okay.
We use it for a weekend too. It's actually what Foxy's idea of taking the weekend off at the end of the month, because she noticed that I get really, really cranky by the end of the month doing these shows. So she's like, okay, look, you need to take a break. And then B, we need to spend more time together. So I combined the two. But she's like, every month, you just seem like you just fly off the handle on everything. You need to get off social media and leave those people alone. I'm like, hey, they said something stupid, so I'm gonna say something stupid back to them. Now you rarely even see me on Facebook. Like I just don't. Because y'all not saying anything new. Y'all ain't saying anything fresh and whatever.
We look at my public posts on Facebook, it's pretty much a bunch of missing children. That's pretty much what you see on mine.
Yeah.
Most of my posts are private, unless you go to my complex mind, and then occasionally I'll put some of my real thoughts out there.
Okay, Parker, you really need to get over the Curious George thing that's going on.
What is going on with the Curious George?
He's always had a Curious George hat.
Beau had a Curious. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the last video. You'll see it. Watch his hat. He always have Curious George.
It's up over his shoulder on the shelf.
Okay.
It is over his shoulder. Anyway, 4th of July trip.
So today is definitely going to be a little bit different. Today we're going to just do the video prompted by a message and then read the message afterward. The video itself is going to be a 4th of July special. We're going to talk about 8 figures that were very important to the founding of this country. And I'm basically just going to go through and name the figure and talk about the thing they're best known for. And then I'll give you one piece of trivia that ties them all together. And then I'll give you a couple other things to look up on your own if you wanted to later. Okay, so the first one, Alexander Hamilton. Actually incredibly important to the founding of this country, but realistically best known for a musical. You have Pierre Charles L'Enfant, I'm sure I mispronounced that, the architect of D.C. D.C. would not look like D.C. without him. You have Frederick von Steuben, who was instrumental in turning the fledgling American military into something a little bit more modern by the standards of the day. Of course, you have Lafayette, also very important militarily. You have Charles Adams, who was important in his relationship to Steuben, but probably best known for being the son of John Adams. You have John Lorenz, who was probably best known for recruiting slaves into the war effort. You have James Buchanan, who probably best known for being the first bachelor president. And then you have Thomas Morton, who is certainly best known for challenging the social beliefs of his contemporaries. Okay, so what do these 8 men have in common? They were all confirmed or rumored by their contemporaries to be part of the LGBTQ community. And while we're on this topic, if this is something that interests you, you might want to look into how Jamestown, that really important colony, how their households were structured at times. And you may want to find out why log cabin Republicans are called log cabin Republicans. Now let's read the message. Hey, you did a lot for Pride, and I tolerated it. For 4th of July, could you just do a video celebrating America or American history? It would be great to not hear gay stuff, not his term, today. How about you just pay homage to the men who gave you the freedom of speech you abuse daily? Granted.
I wanted to use this video for this reason alone. For just this reason. When you sit here and try to say to us about the founding fathers and we need to be proud and you need to look back into the history and everything, I always start my questioning off with, do you really want me to do that? Do you really? Do you really want me to go in depth of the founding fathers? Do you really want me to? I feel a lot of air all of a sudden. That's me. Do you really want me to go into an in-depth discussion of the history, the real history of America? Now, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt what's the end result going to be. You're going to ignore everything that I say, everything that we say, everything that's founded. I know what the end result is going to be. But you really don't want me to go into the founding fathers. So let's start with that, the founding fathers. the fathers who found a country that was already occupied, but you found it. You stole it. Do you really want me to go into the history of Thanksgiving? Do you really want me to do that? You need to watch what you ask for. I am not the American history whisperer. I refuse to do homework for you to, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, you're going to avoid and evade. Because if I really wanted to be nasty about the whole situation, we can literally start from the very beginning of all of this by me saying, do you really want me to look into the history of Christopher Columbus? So watch what you ask for, because I'm old enough to give it to you. So that's why I love that video. You so happy about America. You do you. But when you throw the challenge out of, let's talk about the history and the, okay, do you really want to? I'm done.
Well, mine will be pretty quick. So first of all, I don't call them founding fathers. You can call them founders. You can call them whatever the hell you want to, but it's very tempting, and it's part of the patriotism. It's part of the mystique of loving your country, I guess, that you clean up the history of quite a bit. So there's different points of view. There's the conquerors and there's the conquered. The conquerors are going to have a much more rosy view of the past because all they have to focus on is the highlights. And the conquered are going to have a much more complicated view because we're indoctrinated into the highlights, but we end up with cognitive dissonance because we can't help but look at the lowlights. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind. I guess the theme for the first hour is really kind of focusing on the LGBTQ plus kind of experience that he's focused on in these particular videos. And I would say to people who, like the person he's talking about in this video, talking about let's not talk about gay stuff. I can only imagine what he actually said.
Right.
The thing about it is homosexuality in all of its various forms is human. It's human, right? I mean, for those of you who think that being queer is a mental illness, first of all, you're full of shit. But second of all, let's say you're right. That's human. So everything is human. That means I don't care where you go in history. I don't care what you touch, good, bad, or indifferent. The gay or queer community is there. And they played a role at every level, at every stage. So you can't separate them from history. Your issue is you rather omit them from history. And you can do it because of your privilege, but it doesn't change reality. And that's part of the struggle. Where you got people who have the privilege to opt out, the privilege to focus on what feels best to them, even when they know it's a lie. And then those who have less privilege, varying degrees. But when you omit them, you're omitting a part of who they are. And when you're telling your lie is literally erasing real people. So yeah, from that angle, I think that's super important to be aware of. And then just as far as history itself, um, we oftentimes will focus on slavery, which was roughly 330 or some odd years. That's horrible. How many generations sits in that? Especially when life expectancy, slaves were dying by the time they were 30. So that's a lot of death. It's a lot of torture, a lot of mayhem. But here's what I would like for people to do. Roll that back a little bit. We know the little rhyme, 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So that means sometime in the 1400s, the travesty of America began. But if we want to be simple, we'll go with 1500. Let's just say the first 8 years were wonderful. Whatever. But 1500, that means from 1500 to at the earliest 1860, when the Trail of Tears was winding down. That's still 360 years. Mm-hmm. So America, I'm sorry. I don't even get mad anymore. Right? Like, I know the lies that you're taught because they taught me the same lies. But the math is the math. 300 years of slaughtering indigenous people, 300 years of slaughtering enslaved Africans. Then for the next 150 years, you continue to destroy the indigenous people and the descendants of enslaved Africans. You can look at it and see it's okay for Native American children to come up missing. No one goes looking for them.
Yeah.
African American children go missing. Maybe you'll look for them. We don't know. The alcoholism and the drug epidemic in the reservations. But we pretend that doesn't break the news. You don't ever hear about it on the news. You got to go find a documentary to learn anything about it. Opioid crisis hit basically anybody who's poor, but it really ran hard through Appalachia and really poor white people in America. Mm-hmm. Still not sending any help. They're still losing family members left and right. Huh? So no, you can't give me the rosy colored glasses for America. I've been told by a loved one that I'm too negative. I focus on all the negative parts of America, and that's getting in my way of being happy. No, I have to look at what's happening to other people because it's real. Just because less of it's happening to me changes nothing for the vast majority of people that it's happening to. Because if they get done with them, they're coming for me. So I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I talked way longer than I expected to there.
All right, Anna, you got the last word for the first hour.
Coming back to that 7%. Yeah, that is a grossly understated number. Because there are only some of us willing to say out loud that I am gay. Deal with it. This is who I am, kind of thing. There are still so many. I can't tell you how many police chiefs, fire chiefs I have seen in some of the most compromising positions. That's just a part of who they are. There are really great stories. The love between Alexander Hamilton and John Lawrence, for example. It it messed Hamilton's head up when Lawrence died. We are woven throughout the fabric of the American story, just like Black people, Indigenous people, and yes, Indigenous women are twice as likely to go missing, and you will never have heard about it. There's always going to be more of the story out there than anybody ever has time to cover. That's for you to, if you're interested, uncover. There's never going to be time to cover it all. There's just too much. But yeah, we have always been here, and we have always been a significant amount, let's say, percentage of the country. Because when you look at what the queer community now is made up of, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of different lifestyles that are, the only thing we have in common is that they're alternate of some kind. They're not considered normal. Yeah, we're trying to push that. We're trying to get the average American to see that, bro, there is no normal. There is so much individuality. Yeah, I can imagine what that guy said as well. You know, just as you are tired of hearing the gay stuff, my man, there's a bunch of us that are tired of hearing the same old European-centric story. And we know that America is so much more than that. But to find out really how absolutely cool we all are, you have to do the digging.
Hey, Anna, one thing,
Yeah.
like we were talking about with the 7% and about how we were saying that that's a gross under exaggerated number because of the complexity of being queer, first of all.
Yeah.
But then the inherent social stigma that you get, because part of being Black, Asian, Latino, things like that, is that we're wrestling against white being considered normative. If it's white,
Right.
it's normal. And so that's why I'm so big on uncentering whiteness in my life and in the life of my community. It's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being white. It's just
No.
that white should be on parity with others. It's not better. But
Right.
part of America is white is normative and all things branch out from there.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to sexuality, sexual identity, gender identification, things like that, the Christian church defines what's normative, specifically the white Christian church, but really the Christian church, right?
Mhm.
Catholic, Baptist, you name it, they all wrestle with this
Oh, yeah.
because of the biology situation or whatever. So you having to wrestle against that. Something, you know, loved ones that I know who are part of the community, they have to somehow navigate.
Mhm.
But what I wanted to talk about, which I think is hilarious, as it speaks to why that number's so low.
Mhm.
If you notice, Grinder, for those of you who don't know, is a gay dating website, and it's where you can find gay escorts and things like that.
Mhm.
It always coincides with the Super Bowl and the Republican National Convention. Wherever those two things happen, spikes, like
Yep.
all kinds of extra traffic. So that's a lot of people who do not identify, because those are two environments that is not welcoming for you to be of an alternative lifestyle.
Right.
So they sneaking and doing their thing. So that 7%, you got to bring that number up, because obviously there's a market.
Right.
Now it's bigger than that too. I mean, it's not just the Republican Party. I mean, just period. But I just find that
Yes.
part to be quite emblematic, because that's the group that is most outspoken as far as what is supposed to be normal
Mhm.
in America.
Yeah, the amount of people that I see in clubs, the amount of people that I see in parties and picnics and just normal get-togethers, that there's a lot of us. There really are. I would say we match at least 30% to a MAGA. I think it's even more. If you were able to quantify all of the people who were afraid of saying, yes, I am outwardly gay, there'd be a lot.
All right,
Now, that's not me
everybody.
saying that you need to go by my definition of what you are, because remember, I rankle when people try to do that to me. That's not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's a lot of self-hating folks out there
Hmm.
who will demonize a community
Oh,
that
there's
they
a lot
otherwise would
more.
belong to, or like that. I don't know if y'all saw it. I think I shared it. Um, it was a old CSI type clip where the guy was like, "I'm not gay. I just sleep with men."
Yep,
Okay.
yep. You can absolutely reject that title. I've heard that. I have heard that so many times. And it's because I've heard it so many times that now I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah.
It's the whole, it's just sex, it's nothing else. Okay, but part of how we define your sexual identity is who you have sex with. I don't care if you're pitching or catching.
And your
That's how
whole
we define sex.
lifestyle.
That
Yeah,
reminds me of the old. That reminds me of the old show, Kids in the Hall.
I love that
Um,
show.
but what Thea's just said remind me of a joke where there was the guys was playing two secretaries, and I don't know what the setup was, but they was talking about a guy who was gay, and one of the girls piped up and go, "Oh, no, 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 no! I found out that he's not gay." And she was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah." He explained it to me over a margarita break. He says he's not gay. He just sleeps with men to remind himself that he doesn't like it.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Like,
Like, yep, yep. I
okay.
still don't like cheesecake.
Nom, 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 nom.
All right, everybody. That is our first hour. We're going to go ahead and get a 3-minute break to roll into our second hour. Tracy, by the stroke of, I don't know, because I'm tired, I will catch up to everything that Tracy, Parker, and Captain said into the second hour. So, I keep
Hi,
to the
Tracy.
status quo of, hey, Tracy, of always keeping up my policy of always reading everybody or showing everybody's comment. So we're gonna go roll into the second hour with a very special "Am I the A-hole?" which again I will say I will explain that to you again with a positive story of the week, mafia story of the week, and Foxy video of the week. 3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally, finally, finally. I wanna be free, finally, I wanna be free, finally, finally, finally. I wanna be free, finally, finally. I always daydreaming, never imagined I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally, finally. I wanna be free, finally, I wanna be free, finally, I wanna be free, finally,
We are back, and without further ado, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Please do not forget to support Tracy at patreon.com. Tracy Media Fan, help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. Please do not forget to go to Theus's Our United Core website, building community movements. Communities build movements. If you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. Saturday Night Vibe will be returning next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And let's get into the Mama Heart Hour. Okay, I'm not going to always get all of them.
No, you're not. You did good.
And yes, we're going to go ahead and get through it, because mine is real short. I know that you said you're not going to talk about Trump, but what do you all think of him saying that Harris looks like his wife? He said the drawing of Harris on the cover of Time magazine made her look like Marlena. It definitely did not at all look like Marlena, LOL. Hi, Tracy. He confused E. Jean Carroll with his wife, Marlena, years ago. I think bottom line, all women are the same to him. And my answer to all of that is, I don't care.
Yeah, it simply just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Trump either likes a woman or dislikes a woman. If he likes the woman, then they remind him of someone he already likes. And if he dislikes the woman, then they remind him of somebody he already dislikes.
So, there you go. It wasn't hard, Anna. Told you, I don't care. I refuse to even put another thought in it. Am I the a-hole? With a twist. I don't know if I've shown this before. If I have, I apologize. If I haven't, oh well. But remember, even if we've all seen it before, we have a whole bunch of other people who have not seen the story, so they're new to the story. But anyway, two-parter. I know them longer than he thinks.
I'm a 24-year-old woman, and I married my husband, who's 28, about a year and a half ago. The first time I saw my husband, I was a freshman in high school and he was a freshman in college. He was walking his dog at the park when he stopped to talk to my brother because they happened to go to high school together. That was the moment I became hooked. That same day, I found his Instagram, his family's social media, and also where he lived since my brother offered to walk him home while I tagged along. When I got home that day, I knew that I wanted him, but of course I was only 14 while he was 18, so I came up with a plan. I found out his younger brother was only 1 year younger than me and would be attending my current high school. I figured that I had to befriend his younger brother by any means possible next year when he moves up as a freshman while I become a sophomore, and I did. It took about half of my junior year where we became best friends, and he invited me over often in his house to hang out. This is where I was able to befriend my current husband's mom, and God did she love to talk about him. From her, I found out what college he goes to, his past girlfriends, what his elementary and middle school was, his favorite and least favorite foods, his pet peeves, what he likes, etc. Eventually, when my visits started getting more and more frequent, I formally met my current husband again. My current husband, Edward, would come over every other week and stay for either Friday to Sunday or Saturday to Sunday. On those days specifically, I would wear my cutest outfits to impress him and also joke around with him a lot. Eventually, I befriended him as well. A little background about Edward: he's a school record holder for a certain sport at my school, which I just so happened to do also. And around halfway through the senior year, Edward came back during the season to help coach the current high school athletes, which included me, in order to get more volunteer work hours in. And I got to spend a lot more time with them. I loved every second of it. We were friends before, but then we became much closer since I got to spend lots of extra time with him after school, where sometimes he would even drive me home since we lived relatively close. Fast forward to when I had to move away to New York City for college. Edward moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. Edit, I lied. It was not a coincidence. I found out that he got a job offered, and I applied to a college nearby his workplace. Being each other's only friends in a new state, we became incredibly close. We started dating when I was a sophomore in college, he proposed to me after I graduated, and we just got married almost a year ago. He knows absolutely nothing about how I truly know him, and believes that it's fate that brought us together through his younger brother. Lately, I've been debating on whether or not I should tell him, or at least his younger brother, the truth, since the only reason I befriended him was to get close to Edward. I feel guilty every time that he tells others our love story, because the truth is, I've known him for 10 years, while he's only known me for about 7.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. There's absolutely nothing strange about this story.
Yeah.
Because she developed a crush on an older guy, freshman, senior type thing. He didn't pay her no mind because she was too young. She found out a way to get close to him. They connected when she made it to college. That's actually the way it should go. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it should go. And guys, those of us who are more aware, we tend to understand that, the woman always chooses. You might choose at the end to be with her, but you're usually falling into something she hadn't already laid out for you, homie. You think it's your idea, but no.
Yeah.
I thought it was all my idea that I got my wife. Now I ran game, you know what I'm saying? I ran game, and I got her. But no, what might have started off me, definitely was her to finish that out.
All right, you got anything, Emma?
It is the perfect illustration of what Thea says often, is that you will fall in love with the people that you're around, and she made sure she was around.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the second part then.
Okay.
Then, about 1 week later, OP posted an update. I told him the truth on the 4th of July. After the fireworks mostly ended and we were heading back, I asked him in the car, wouldn't it be weird if we met each other before the first time we actually met, but we just didn't think of each other as significant at the time? He smiled and turned to me saying, that's impossible. There's no universe where we would have met and I wouldn't think of you as significant. That statement struck me in the heart because I knew that I would soon prove that sentence very wrong. But I continued on with my plan anyways. I said, what if I told you that we have met each other before that time that I was introduced as your little brother's friend? He looked at me like I was crazy, so that's when I pulled over to the side of the road, pulled out my phone, and showed him my Reddit post. It took him about 8 minutes to read the whole thing. When he finished, he put the phone down and stared straight ahead, almost like he was dumbfounded, scared, and confused all at the same time. I started throwing out every excuse and apology I could muster at the moment for about 15 minutes straight, when he decided to tell me to stop, and I did. Then he just sat there and sobbed uncontrollably for about 10 minutes, before he finally asked me how much of our relationship, how much of my identity was fabricated according to his liking. I told him the honest truth, that none of my personality or identity was fabricated for him, except for the fact of how we met. The only thing I ever changed about myself to make him like me more was lying about liking Chinese food. I hate Chinese food. But other than that, everything else was real. Although my friendship with his younger brother was built upon ill intentions, my friendship between his brother and I are now one of the most genuine friendships I have. He just cried and told me that he doesn't want to divorce me, but he does want us to have some time apart so that he could absorb the truth that I gave him. He also said that he expects me to tell his brother and mom this Friday because they deserve to know the truth just as much as he did. I told him okay, and we drove the rest of the ride home in silence. When we got home, he hugged me and cried for about 5 minutes before he got out the car, packed his stuff, and said that he'd be staying at a nearby hotel for now. He says that he knows that he still loves me, but he doesn't know how to react to the fact that the beginning of our relationship was very, very orchestrated. To sum it all up, I guess telling him was a success? I honestly don't know. He sent me a good night and an I love you text message last night while he was at the hotel, so I guess he's not as much mad as he is betrayed. Then OP posted an update. I woke up this morning to find out that my husband not only lied about going to a hotel to stay at, but also lied about not wanting a divorce through a text message. He went to his family's home, not an effing hotel. He told them the entire story himself, probably exaggerated it too to make me seem crazy. His whole family wants nothing to do with me and claims that I'm a psycho? He said that he lied about going to a hotel because he knew that if he told the truth, then wouldn't I try to stop him? But honestly, I feel so betrayed. I tried to be a good wife by showing him the true me, and this is what he does? I did all this work just for it to end up like this? Honestly, I kinda deserve it. I didn't tell him because I was feeling bad. I told him because I had a suspicion that he was catching on to the fact that I knew him for 2.5 years before he knew me, largely because I found out that he was keeping my old phone in his work desk. My old phone, which has screenshots of a lot of his old Instagram posts, as well as plans in my notes app about him. So I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession like this one. I might update this post in a few years when I find a new husband, lol.
All right, so it went from a good story to real or nah, and I'm gonna go with nah. Because the whole second half is stupid.
You really gonna have to elaborate on the stupid thing.
I just think it's stupid. Like, it was overkill, and it's just dumb. Like, it just doesn't flow. First half flows, second half doesn't flow. I feel betrayed. You feel betrayed by what? What? You know, I don't get the betrayal. A little weird, maybe. And then your family, and see, this is where it tips. Like, he could be a real simple dude who ain't got a whole lot of brain power. This is probably why she was able to get him the way she did. But the family don't go, I'm also betrayed. Huh? Well, only way that could be the case is if the little brother had a crush on you. But you didn't already married his big brother. So yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It seems like somebody was writing a decent story, and when I look back at the first half, it had little extra details that were just a little extra too. But the second half to me just really just like you were trying to finish your story, and yeah.
I have to agree. The first part and the second part, they seem worlds apart. The husband's reaction just seems to be way too out there. I don't know. Are there any more parts to this, Marlon? Did Marlon just leave us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I'm back. No, there's no more part. That was the
No more
last.
part. Okay. Yeah, I have to say no. I would believe the first part is real. It seems like they tried to write up the second part. It just doesn't. Something about it doesn't feel right.
Okay. Well, honestly, we're all in agreement. I don't believe the damn story. I just don't. First time in a long time. I'm sorry. I'm listening to this. It's like
All of it?
all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't believe none of it. I don't believe the first video. I don't believe the second video. I don't believe the second video because I didn't believe in the first video. So, if you don't made up the first one, the second one is made up too. You had to end the narrative. I didn't believe the story. Sorry. Right, Bella. Sorry, everybody. I got a sweet tooth all of a sudden. It came from out of the blue. And Foxy got me my favorite candy. So,
this weird lifestyle change thing for me, man. I'm not saying I've done perfect with my diet, but I've never had much of a sweet tooth anyway. But now when I feel like I want something sweet, it's gonna sound depressing. I go eat some baby carrots.
They're sweet.
That's my candy.
you're right. That's depressing. That's good.
I'm sorry.
That's a good segue. You got your headphones in?
I don't know.
That's a good segue, Thea. Positive story of the week. think I actually have found a video that both Anna and Thea's, and hopefully everybody else would enjoy. So here we go.
I got the closing shift at the IT shop I used to work at when I was still in school. 10 minutes till closing, and I decided to get the sign inside already and start cleaning our display. That's when I heard the door opening, and in comes a guy from school. He's living at another part of the small town, and since we were both the same age, I knew he had no license. I'm from Germany. I was nearly 16 at the time of the story, so no driver's license, and it could have been a real pain to get here. I dislike this guy, always trying to show off his dad's money, and since he's not too bad at sports, the stupid girls all like him. And since he's got brains too, he hit the jackpot. No chance for like everyone, so I was quite irritated when Guy Perfect entered the store. Me, welcome at store, but I have to tell we are closing really soon. It would be best if you would just return tomorrow at an earlier time. I tried to be polite and did hope he got the message, but he just shook his head and went for the desk. I followed him because, well, I'm closing in 7 minutes and I don't want you to ruin that. When I reached the desk, I noticed he had placed a bag there, and bite me if I'm wrong, but that bag was moving. Last-minute repair orders for a bug-rotten laptop? Thanks, Schroeder Obama. Guy Perfect, sorry, but I have to ask you for a favor. I know we don't get along really well, but this has to be top secret, and my parents needn't know this. I was curious, so I opened the bag, and inside was a puppy. Not a badly damaged laptop or monitor or something, no. A cute little golden retriever puppy. They're definitely not IT. What would make him think bringing it to us would be a good idea? I asked him exactly that while petting the puppy. I mean, come on, it was just so cute, and he started to stutter while trying to explain. Guy Perfect, okay, you see, I was not looking for an IT store, I was looking for you. That's when your mom told me you were here, and here I am. I know this is sudden and you don't really know me, but I know some of your friends and they told me I could trust you with this. So please help me. Me? Whoa, wait a moment. What help do you need? And who would recommend me as a go-to guy if ever having a puppy? That's not bad at all. I just want to thank that person. So he explained, he told me he found this little guy when walking home, trapped inside a cardboard box, and took him to a vet as soon as he could. The puppy was not hurt, but he just thought, better safe than sorry. It was all right, but now he had one problem. His mother hates animals. She would scream whenever she saw something bigger than a fly. So for him, it would be impossible to take the little guy home, but he didn't want to bring him to a shelter. That's when he heard from one of my friends that I live beside a farm and used to help there when I was little, so I'd have the possibility to keep the puppy there and he would visit him every day. He knew he was selfish, but he at least wanted to try. I was touched, I really was. So I told him to grab the puppy and wait outside while I closed the shop. As soon as I was done, we both went to the farmer and told him everything. He laughed, but since he knew me for ages, he agreed. Guy Perfect was grateful, promised to pay us for our troubles, and went home. And this is the story of how I got to know my best friend of 9 years and now coworker. P.S. The dog still lives with the farmer. When the dog grew older, and we too, we realized it's best to keep him at his used surroundings, even though Guy Perfect wanted to take him with him when he moved out.
Oh.
There's another one of them real or non stories.
Oh, come on.
This story
this is a possible story. There's nothing in there that's fabricated.
Stupid. The last story was more realistic than this story.
Why? Because what could be out of the norm on this story?
The entire story is goofy, man. Okay.
Goofy don't mean it's not real.
When I was 16, I was closing one day, and we only had 7 minutes before we closed. And the guy came in, and he puts a bag on the counter, and it's moving. And inside is a golden retriever puppy, and the puppy was in a box, and he found it in the box and took it to the vet, and then on the way from the vet to who knows where, he came across my friends, and my friends said he lived next to a farm, and then let's go to the farm and then talk to the farmer. And then we both go to talk to the farmer. And then the farmer keeps the dog. And then we go visit the dog. And now, bruh, real talk, things that don't make sense. You found the dog, you took it to the vet. That makes sense. You then take the dog from the vet to some unknown third party who then sends you to a guy at his job to deal with the dog in a bag. You're carrying the dog in a bag, okay? Bro, I'm sorry.
What do you want him to do? Keep it in the box?
No.
Okay.
And also the way it's really enjoyed me too.
Some of the stories can be goofy and still be true. You have goofy moments in life.
That's fine. I could be wrong, Marlon, but here's the thing though. Other stories are goofy and you think they're not true. So to say
depends on how goofy the story is, though.
It's not saying anything.
It was a wholesome story.
I guess so. If you carry dogs around in a bag.
That was a little weird.
What was you going? How was that weird? What else are you gonna carry the dog in that you gonna keep secret so nobody can see what you're doing?
You don't put a living animal in a bag
tank.
and then just sit on the counter and the thing's still in the bag. It's not like the bag was open and the thing popped his head up. No, you had it in a bag, which means it was closed. You were carrying a dog in a closed bag.
That is weird.
It was maybe a duffel bag. He didn't say he was carrying a dog around in a Ziploc bag.
I don't care if it was a duffel bag. You don't put something in a closed bag that's alive.
He could probably have it cracked so he could get some air.
See how you making up stuff to make your story work now?
Well,
it might have had air holes on it. You know, it might have been a mesh bag.
Could be anything to conceal what he was carrying around.
Yeah, because you don't want to be seen with dog contraband.
No, what happened was he didn't want somebody to see him with a dog and then go tell his parents, hey, I saw your son walking around with a dog.
Okay, but the problem is bringing the dog home. So it still doesn't make sense. My wife is also like his alleged mother, who thinks that anything that is not human is scary. You know what she wouldn't do? Freak out if she heard one of her kids was carrying a puppy and it didn't come home.
I thought it was a wholesome story.
Sorry. Hey, I know what you were going for. I'm just saying this story is just weird, bro. It's not just weird. It's just wrong. Like, it's just, maybe they do things different wherever they're from. I don't know.
They in Germany.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's a German custom I'm not aware of carrying dogs in bags.
Oh dear.
I'm going to continue to find.
How was the puppy trapped in a cardboard box and you saw it?
I'm pretty sure the dog was probably not quiet. You heard a whole bunch of yipping and yapping and crying, and he just went and investigated.
What if the dog belonged to somebody? What if that was some homeless person's puppy, and that was their whole coping mechanism, and you just took the puppy from the homeless person, and that man is without a puppy?
That's a damn shame.
So Marlon just said, forget homeless people. I got you, bro.
Well, you said forget the puppy.
I think homeless people rank higher than a puppy. Especially if you're going to take the puppy and stick it in a bag. Just sit it on the counter.
I am going to continue with my sweet stories regardless of these.
I didn't tell you not to continue with them. Sometimes you got some good ones. This one right here, it's a little manufactured.
Okay, Anna, you got the last word. Well, I enjoy my kid.
Uh, I can see this happening. Um, the part about the bag is weird. I guess he's afraid of his mom. I just want to concentrate on the dog has a healthy life at the farm, and the kids got to see it, or people got kids, kids. Cause that is the way it would make sense. You start thinking about like, how can I continue seeing this dog, but not in my house?
And then come back and want to take the dog from the farmer. Thanks for raising the dog.
Yeah, right. I don't think he raised that, but there were strange things.
I'm sorry, I can't get mad because I love this candy. So, okay. The greatest candy ever created.
Okay.
So,
You eating sweet tarts?
oh, yuck.
Say yuck. Who says
Sweet
yuck?
tart?
Sweet
No,
tarts?
I would never break my neck over sweet
Right.
tarts.
Sweet tarts
no.
is just sugar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
What
eat candy
everything
corn.
is.
Never mind.
You eat candy corn. You should go to
I don't eat candy corn. You eat candy corn. I don't eat candy
I
corn.
don't eat candy corn.
I know you do, boo. I don't eat candy corn. Candy corn eater.
You eat that black licorice.
I don't eat that either. That's you.
That's you.
Whatever you say about me, bounce off me and stick to you. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say, bounce off me and stick to you.
Trump lover. Mafia video of the week.
Just rude.
You go low, I go lower. Real talk, this is something that I maybe 2 years ago has started doing. So yeah, I love Veronica.
Hi, Veronica. Hi. So this Saturday's the kickball tournament. Oh, that's great. Have fun. What do you mean have fun? Are you not planning on showing up? Oh, no. I'm not going to that. We put you down on the roster. We were kind of counting on you. Oh, I didn't know these were paid and mandatory events. Oh, they're not paid. They're voluntary. Then again, I won't be there. My weekends are for my family and my friends and my dog and myself, not for my job. You guys already have me for more time than my family does, so I'm not going to give up my weekends to go play a game with coworkers that I barely even know. That's so disappointing. We were counting on you. We had you down for... Okay. So a couple things. Don't ever include me in any after work or weekend plans. I'm just not interested. I have a life outside of work. I don't do that. And secondly, we live in Florida. I don't do outdoor activities. I'm not going to die because of you guys. Because you want to do kickball in the middle of the summer when it's 149,000 degrees outside. So I'm going to get back to work. Have fun. I will not be there.
Veronica just antisocial. That's all. I agree because I'm the same way. I don't want to go bowling with you. I don't want to go to the park with you. Best you're gonna get out of me is we go out to lunch.
Maybe. Look, here's the deal.
Well, I eat off campus every day. I can't. Yeah.
I cannot. The whole kumbaya, we a family, and all this other stuff that I grew up with, the pandemic has changed me significantly to the point of I come in, I work, I go home. So, no, I don't want to see you after work. No, I don't want to hang out with you after work. No, I don't care about building camaraderie with people who I work by myself. I'm building camaraderie with people who I'll probably never talk to ever again until next year's after party, whatever you decide to do after work. Now that's when I'll see them again. So what building a rapport with you is going to benefit you, me, or this company? Or I can go home to my lovely wife, eat dinner, watch a TV show with her, or just talk. Which one do you think I'm going to pick? After, by the way, which is funny, after working 8 hours. Like, really? No, I'm good. I'm good.
I don't know. It ain't got to be that personal. Just I don't want to go.
I'm not gonna. I would definitely would not make it personal. I'm just saying.
What you just said came across quite personal, bro.
I'm saying, well, you know what? I'll take it back.
I hate you. I hate your family. I hate where you come from. I hate how you think. I hate how you talk. I hate your breath. Your hair's stupid. I don't want to be around you.
Personal. It is personal to me because I feel like I could do something better after work than hanging out with y'all. I just feel like I just got better things to do.
No, I feel you because, like I said, I don't. It's rare that you will get me at a after hours function for the job. I mean, when I was in my 20s, yeah, because my social, like my friends were my coworkers, but now we're friendly at work. No animosity, no hard feelings, nothing like that. You are my work friends. So when I'm at work, we good. But soon as working, like my job, these people had to figure it out with me real quick. Man, Theas might show up a half hour to an hour early. It's the best you're gonna get out of me. And I'll stay on occasion up to 2 hours late. But I better be doing it because I chose to. I don't, even when I was hourly, I do not do overtime. I don't pick up extra shifts. When it's time for me to go home, I go home. That's me. So no, I don't want to come to the kickball game. I don't want to do any of those things. But what you're going to hear from me is just, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they don't even ask me no more. I'm sorry. They asked me one time, I said I'm not coming. They go, oh, why? I don't want to. And then they never asked me since then.
That'll do it. Yeah. At least they caught the hint.
Anna, go ahead, because I'm going to get some more candy.
All this candy late at night, he's going to mess up his sleep.
No. I guess it greatly depends on what you do for work and caveat, my work is not paid. I still do consider it my work because I put a lot of hours into myself and the other facilitators for the support groups. We are having meetings just about every week of the month. We have topics that we will spend a lot of our time digging deep into so that we can give a good presentation and good facts backed up with sources. Yes, I do consider this my job. It is something that propels me to get out of bed in the morning and to reach deep into, because it helps people. I get a lot of really great feedback. And I guess you would say that, like, the other facilitators and I do, we meet off. We don't have hours, okay, but we meet off hours and we really try to work on our rapport because that's important. It's important to the atmosphere of the group. But I know what I'm laying out it's very different than your boss coming over. We love this project and we want to put our best into it and we want to give extra because we love the people.
But that's the difference, Anna. You are working in your passion, right? Mm-hmm. So it's different than work. Like, you're doing your life's work. You're not interrupting your life to work, right? So it's like there is a clear trade-off. You give me money, I come do this thing.
Right.
When you stop giving me money, I stop doing this thing.
Right.
Because I have no passion about this thing.
Right.
But you're doing something that whether you get paid or you don't get paid, you're passionate about it. So that's great. And I really love the people who have careers that marry those two things. I don't have that. I like my job. I like my coworkers, but it's not my passion. So my kids, I'm like, yo.
Yep.
I can completely see that. Because I wouldn't think it would, if, like, say I was back at the bakery, would I want to spend my Saturday off kind of thing? I don't think so. So I do get it. It greatly depends on the people you're talking about, the job you're talking about. Yeah.
Foxy's videos of the week. Okay, this is my last bit of candy because I can't take no more. So good though. Now, this is what a friend is for.
What did it say above? May you surround yourself?
I don't know.
Make you smile.
Surround yourself with people who make you smile.
Okay.
I think that was very creative and that was cute.
That was cool. It was funny. I cracked up when I saw it. That was so silly. Sometimes you just need some silliness in your life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was silly. I think that was neat.
Next video. Dude, you are not your wife.
got to work up to these things, man.
That man just left his fingerprint in that pan.
Not your wife, dude. She's been doing it a lot longer than you.
Just like when you at the barbecue, you got that one uncle that he's the one who always does the barbecuing, and he'll reach right over there and turn the meat with his hand. That ain't for the rookies. Your skin ain't tough enough. Don't do it.
You ain't ready for this, bro. You ain't ready. One more silly one.
Would you snitch on your girl for $800 million?
I mean, they always make these numbers so huge. $800 million.
Have to.
Yeah, because snitching means you did something. So, yes, you have found my price. But would you snitch on her for $8,000? Would you snitch on her for $80,000? See, this is how you corrupt someone. You just keep dialing it up. And then when you find that you can't find a dollar amount, you turn around and say, okay, what if it was her or your child? It's everybody got a price, and the price ain't always money. Sorry, I went serious on y'all.
Yeah, you did. Just wanted to stick to the yes, Lord part, but no.
Okay, so let's say you snitched on her, and she's got to go to prison for the next 15 years, but you got $800 million. Now, he said your girl. He didn't say your wife, so you know how I feel. You can break up over anything, and I think we can break up over $800 million. But would you at least pay your 10% to the church? Because since you're saying yes, Lord, you thanking him for the money. Marlon, would you pay your 10%?
One, no. Two, I'm not gonna snitch on my wife.
Not even for $800 million?
You wouldn't?
No.
No matter what it was, because he didn't say it was bad. It could have been a traffic ticket, Marlon.
Okay, fine. I would snitch on her that, hey, Foxy got a traffic ticket. Give me my $800 million, because that seemed to be a going rate for a traffic violation.
They didn't say. They didn't say.
But I don't need.
You heard that, Foxy? He turned you in.
Depends on what you're snitching on. And that's true, too. It really depends on what exactly are you going to, what you're snitching on.
Well, you're snitching on her for causing very serious harm. It was dark, it was raining, and she hit something. She thought it was an animal. Come to find out, it was a 10-year-old kid. Now, kid didn't make it.
I don't want to play this game no more.
I
just don't want to play this game no more.
I'm just saying.
We're going to go ahead to the final video. These need to take a nap or a coma or something.
So now you want to put me in a coma, Marlon?
Whoa.
Wow.
You need something.
Over a hypothetical. Wow, Marlon. At least.
You went to a 10-year-old. Jeez.
Would have been better if I said 16.
So weird.
What if it was $799 million traffic ticket, meaning you would only gain a total of $1 million? First of all,
man, how many cars did she hit?
You went to a I can't even come up with nothing funny. $799 million traffic ticket?
Really?
You went to somebody's car dealership You went to a BMW dealership and just decided nothing's gonna survive in there.
Nope, she ran a red light and slammed into like Taylor Swift or something.
A whole concert.
Don't come for me, Swifties. It's a hypothetical.
Now a whole concert, a whole auditorium. The babies. Think about the babies.
Yeah, all right.
All the puppies in the bag.
The puppies in the bag.
Last video of the night.
White slang is just black slang in reverse, and here's my proof of it. You better not. I wish you would. Say no more. Say less. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Deal. Bet. Shut up. Keep talking. Swing by. Pull up. You got the right one, buddy. I ain't the one. Something's off with them. Yo, they on one. Hey, let's go. We gone. He's a cool cat. That's my dog. Hey, what's up, my dude?
This part of the show could not be participated in due to the amount of melanin the creator has. He still wishes to be invited to the cookout if that's possible.
Nah, buddy, say it. Say it. I'll take the rest of them fronts out. But nah, I think it's. I mean, he picked some pretty cool ones. But nah, it's the slang is about the same. Slang is cool. Cool. Relaxed speech. It shows a bit of rebelliousness in the working class. You know, because that's really kind of where slang and things like come from. It comes from the rebellious spirit of the working and underclass. Because it's saying they need some way to have control of something. So we adopt language. And then for those who are truly in forms of bondage or what's it called, subjugation, then you end up with alternate languages.
Mm-hmm.
That's where like Creole and things like that came from. Language is cool.
Language is really cool.
I have nothing. I just like the video. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, you can find me right here hanging out with Anna and Marlon. Plus, please check my websites, complexmindsimpleman.com. Wait, no, that's not my website. complexsimpleman.com and ourunitedcore.com. Check those out. There you go.
Wait a minute.
Anna?
You can find me also here and also at my own site, BoreliaEtc.com.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course...
I'm assuming you're legitimate club.
If you had to hit that like button, please do so on the way out the door. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
Hey, you know what would be mad cool? Trump backs out. J.D. Vance becomes the presidential nominee. And then they pick, I don't know, Nick